Hi guys, my name is Cara, and today we're going to be going through the powder bath design process for the project that we just wrapped up. We did a reveal video and we've received tons of questions all about kind of the process we went through to build the space and to design it. And so for all of you that have Pinterest boards filled with gorgeous images for your spaces, but you have no idea where to start when it comes to actually creating them in your own home, I just wanted to kind of walk you through what the process looked like, because it's a small space with a very low budget, so it's pretty simple for you to do something similar in your home if you're DIYing your interior design.
Just wanna go home, back home. I've been gone for way too home. Just wanna go home. I'm on my way back home.
So if you are new here, I'm Cara and I am the founder and creator. We bring you interior design advice, super fun DIY projects, and decorating tips and tricks to help you create a space that you truly feel at home in. And one thing I want to mention before we get started is we actually just created a interior design project DIY workbook. It's going to give you checklists, different worksheets so that you can work through like creating your own interior design project in your own home. It helps you kind of assess your space, set up kind of some goals and a budget for your space, and then walks you through some of the different design elements you'll need to consider. Okay, so first things first with any design project, before you get to start picking out the gorgeous throw pillows and the wall colors and all of that fun stuff, you have to really sit down and think about the function of the space. So you want to be thinking about the types of things you're going to do in this space and some of the practical aspects that you're going to need to implement in order to make that space really function and really usable, because at the end of the day, rooms aren't there to be just gorgeous, they're there for people. So we really want to be able to design for people instead of just designing a gorgeous space. So when it comes to powder bathrooms, I think in general powder baths can kind of be left for last and forgotten because they're a small space. They're usually a space that the people that live in the home don't use a lot, kind of gets forgotten about a lot of times. Thinking about the function, powder baths are usually for guests, unless it's your only bathroom on a certain floor or in a certain area. It's usually going to be for your guests. So it's really important to design this space in a way that's going to make your guests feel welcome, and it's going to give them everything that they're going to need in your home. So things to freshen up, all of that kind of stuff when they're visiting. The other thing about a powder bath is, if you think about it, it's kind of the first time that guests are in your home without you. Like, they've come in the door, you've greeted them, maybe they've been, having appetizers or dinner in the kitchen, and the powder bath is the first time they kind of leave the crowd, they kind of get some alone time in your home. So they have time to kind of sit there and look around at the decor and think about it. So your powder bath needs to be welcoming, but it also should kind of express who you are, which is really weird to think about because you usually just think about the function of a powder bath, but thinking about the next step as far as like not only giving your guests what they need, but kind of catering to them in a way that's welcoming with your design. So I'll show you a picture of the before. So this powder bath had all the essential practical elements, but it was lacking a sense of comfort and personality. It was essentially a blank slate. It had all of the builder grade kind of basics as far as like the glued on mirror that was frameless and kind of just the toilet and the sink, and that was it. So we wanted to really create interest in this space, give it more texture, give it more personality in a way that was going to keep it functional, because it is a really small space, so there's not a lot that we can add to it in terms of like furniture. So our main two goals were to create a powder bath that felt welcoming and had personality, as well as maximizing storage and making that small space feel bigger. And then the scope of the project was really just kind of cosmetic updates. We weren't going to be doing any relocation of plumbing or electrical, since the home is new. Everything was kind of less than a year old, but it did need kind of a cosmetic update. The inspiration as far as style and mood goes for this space was elegant industrial. We wanted some industrial elements like iron pipes and kind of raw, rustic looking wood, but we didn't want the whole space to feel overly industrial and overly dark. So with the palette, we wanted to keep it very light, and we wanted things to still feel elegant, but have those kind of touches of character that otherwise you might not find in a new home where everything is uniform in color or nice and bright and shiny and new. We kind of wanted to add some character type elements to the space. So the first design consideration we worked through was the principle of light and bright. So with a small space, you really don't want things to feel dark, because then you feel like you're sitting in a closet. Oftentimes powder baths are already the size of a closet, so you want to keep things feeling light, keep things feeling bright, unless you're really intentionally going for like a moody, edgy look with like maybe black walls or something like that. You want to focus on lighter and brighter with all of the different elements. So this light and bright aspect is actually going to help your space feel bigger, because light colors reflect light, so it's going to bounce the light around and make the space feel bigger. So the first thing that meant in this space is keeping the walls light colored but not boring. We wanted to add texture and pops of color, but not too much to where it would add kind of a darker hue or feel too heavy. So the first thing that meant is choosing a wallpaper that had a really creamy white background with very subtle like little navy designs on it, so that overall it was still very white, but it did add that interest and that pop of color. The next thing we chose to do was to add a wood accent wall. So we chose whitewashed wood panels that are actually stick-on flooring. So these panels, just you peel the back off and then you stick them right onto the wall. So they're super easy to install, and the adhesive also isn't too strong. So if you ever want to change your mind in the future, they come down super easily. They're really easy to install because you don't need a saw. You can literally just measure and then use a box knife. You serrate it and then just snap it and cut it to fit. We actually ended up using little wire nails on the corner of these pieces because the adhesive in this bathroom wasn't really sticking to the textured wall, and we didn't want to add more adhesive because we wanted it to be kind of a temporary element if needed. So we used these little wire nails on each corner to kind of hold the pieces more firmly in place, and also it added kind of an extra touch of character, made the room feel more industrial, and the look turned out really great. So that white wood accent wall added a lot of texture while still keeping things very light, very bright. So the next aspect of light and bright is the lighting itself. We had kind of this standard 2-bulb fixture, and it really wasn't maximizing the light in the space. So we swapped that out for a 3-bulb halogen light that is adjustable. So what that meant is instead of all the lighting being focused over the sink and over the mirror, it enabled us to point 2 lights down at the mirror at the sink vanity area, and then point 1 light off kind of up and out to kind of fill the space with light and kind of illuminate the rest of the room versus just kind of straight down. The other thing with lighting, kind of lighting 101 when it comes to design, is that you really want to have multiple light sources at multiple levels within the room. So you don't want all your lighting to be from the top down in one area, because that's going to create shadows. You kind of want to spread your lighting around. So an example of this is like having can lights or recessed lights within a space, but then also adding lamps on a side table so that you can kind of vary the amount of light in the room and where it's coming from. So for this space, that just meant adding a mini lamp, which we actually got from Target for like $5.99, but it is the cutest little lamp. We initially thought it was going to be able to fit under the shelves, but it was just a little bit too tall, so we had to put it over in the corner. but it looks adorable and it definitely adds a lot more light to the space and kind of from a different angle. So if you're standing in front of the mirror, you have that top-down light from the halogen fixture, but it's not too much where it's casting shadows on your face if you're trying to fix your makeup or get ready. We have this kind of side lamp to kind of fully illuminate and give you that front lighting on your face. So the next thing this space needed was storage. There was nowhere except the sink itself or the window seal for guests to put down their phone or their drink, or to even store anything that guests might need, like toiletries or towels or even decor elements. So we needed to add storage to this space. We didn't have enough room to bring in actual furniture for storage, so we really had to make use of the vertical space. That's another design principle that you really want to make sure you think about, is in small spaces you really want to go upwards because you don't have a lot of room to go outwards. So wall shelves were kind of our ideal choice. And because this bathroom has 9-foot ceilings, we wanted to build kind of a series of shelves that is going to draw your eye upwards up the wall, because that's going to accentuate the fact that the ceilings are higher and not make you feel as cramped because you have a lot of upward space. So we chose rustic wood shelves that we actually just built out of framing lumber, just kind of as an L. One shelf spanned across the entire back wall, which was 5 feet long, and then 2 shelves above the toilet let us put different toiletries, different decor elements, foliage, all of that kind of stuff. We built the mirror into the shelf, so it's a round circular mirror, and we just cut out a groove for the mirror to sit into. It's part of the shelf instead of taking up extra space on the wall. What that did was allow us to create another little counter space in front of the mirror that guests could set things on, maybe a makeup bag, maybe their phone or their drink or whatever they needed, so that they wouldn't have to be trying to fight with the soap dispenser to be setting things on the sink. The toilet paper holder is actually a little shelf, which is perfect size for a phone. So we just wanted to have a lot of little spaces where guests could quickly set items that they might have brought with them, so they're not having to like throw things on the floor. And then the last kind of storage surface that we provided was a garden stool. So garden stools are really trendy right now. They are perfect for small spaces, especially powder baths, because they can add texture, they can add color, and they also give you kind of another level in the space. So different levels within your space is going to help it look more elegant and look more professional versus just having things kind of be all at the same level. Yeah, so I think the takeaway principle from the storage aspect is that successful storage in a small space finds a way to make functional elements part of the decor. So examples of this are getting a really cute glass for cotton balls, or we ended up displaying soap in a really cute glass jar. The towels are kind of part of the shelving decor, and so it's all these functional elements that guests might need while they're in the restroom. They're not just cluttering up the space, but they really are beautiful and part of the decor. Okay, so if you haven't seen the reveal yet, you can look at the full reveal video that kind of zooms you around the room and gives you kind of close-up looks at all the design elements. But here's a really quick before and after so you can see the space.
Home, home, just wanna go, home, home, back home. I've been gone for way too long. Home, home, just wanna go.